They had fame, fortune, and millions of fans, and then poof, they vanished without a trace. No revient, no explanation, just gone. What really happened to these celebrities who disappeared at the peak of their fame? In this video, we'll uncover the eerie disappearances of famous celebrities, from sudden walkouts to mysterious last sightings. We'll explore theories, investigations, and shocking truths that might explain where they went, and why the world never heard from them again. Connie Converse. Songwriter's heartbreaking disappearance. Connie Converse, born Elizabeth Eaton Converse, is often hailed as one of the earliest modern singer-songwriters, a true pioneer in the music world whose mysterious disappearance remains unsolved. She was also a gifted composer, poet, and writer whose work would go on to influence many artists in the years after she vanished without a trace in August of 1974. Connie's journey to disappearance was marked by personal struggles that took a heavy toll on her mental health. After a series of setbacks in both her personal and professional life, she fell into a deep depression. She had faced rejection not just in her career, where she was unable to gain recognition for her innovative music, but also in her personal life as she grappled with her identity as a lesbian in a society that didn't accept her. Her religious parents did not support her, which deepened her feelings of isolation. In the summer of 1974, after losing a job she valued at the Journal of Conflict Resolution when the office moved to Yale University, Connie Converse made a heartbreaking decision. She packed her belongings into her Volkswagen Beetle and drove off, mysteriously disappearing without a trace. Her family and friends searched for her, but there were no leads. A private investigator hired by her family eventually told them he couldn't bring her back and advised them to accept her decision to disappear. The idea that Connie had chosen to leave her old life behind, perhaps to escape the pain she had been enduring, added an unsettling layer to her story. Though her mysterious disappearance remains unresolved, Connie Converse's legacy as a trailblazer in the music world lives on. Her hauntingly beautiful songs, written long before the likes of Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan, were rediscovered decades later, reminding us that sometimes the most brilliant artists leave us with their work, even if they can't stay to see it appreciated. Jim Thompson. The Silk King's jungle mystery. Jim Thompson was no ordinary businessman. A former operative with the OSS, Office of Strategic Services. A precursor to the CIA, Thompson had a knack for seeing opportunities where others didn't. After World War II, he moved to Thailand and became known as the Silk King for his efforts to revive the country's dying silk industry. His mysterious disappearance would become one of Asia's most famous unsolved cases. Thanks to his innovative business strategies and eye for quality, Jim Thompson turned Thailand's silk trade into a thriving international market, making his name synonymous with luxury and craftsmanship. But in March of 1967, during a vacation to Malaysia, Thompson mysteriously disappeared without a trace. On the day he vanished, he had taken a walk alone through the jungle but never returned. Despite extensive search efforts, which included tracking dogs and a massive manhunt, there was no sign of him. He had simply vanished into thin air, with no clues left behind. Rumors and theories about his mysterious disappearance quickly spread. One of the most persistent ideas was that Jim Thompson had been assassinated by the Communist Party of Malaysia. During the 1960s, Malaysia was in the midst of a conflict with communist insurgents, and Thompson's ties to the US government made him a potential target. Some believed that he had been killed as part of this larger political struggle. Despite numerous investigations over the years, the truth behind Jim Thompson's unsolved disappearance remains a mystery. Was he a victim of political violence, or did he simply decide to disappear, vanishing into the dense Malaysian jungle? No one knows for sure, but Jim Thompson's legacy in the world of silk and his disappearance continue to haunt those who remember him as one of the most enigmatic figures of the 20th century. Jim Sullivan. Musician's desert enigma. Jim Sullivan was a talented singer-songwriter who had spent years trying to make a name for himself in the competitive world of music. After recording 2 studio albums in Los Angeles, neither of which gained much attention, Sullivan decided to try his luck in Nashville, hoping the country music capital would offer him the break he desperately sought. But while on his way to Nashville in March of 1975, Sullivan's life took a bizarre and tragic turn in what would become one of music's most mysterious unsolved disappearances. He stopped for the night at a motel in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, planning to rest before continuing his journey. However, he never stayed in his room. The next morning, Jim Sullivan mysteriously disappeared without explanation. When Sullivan's car was later found abandoned on a remote ranch 26 miles away, the scene was perplexing. His belongings, his money, guitar, and records were all still in the car, but there was no sign of him anywhere. It was as if he had simply vanished off the face of the earth, leaving nothing behind but unanswered questions. Theories about Jim Sullivan's mysterious disappearance have run the gamut. Some suggest he may have been the victim of foul play, while others believe he might have walked off into the desert, struggling with personal issues or mental health problems. The remote location of his car raised suspicions that something sinister had occurred. A particularly strange theory even suggested that Sullivan might have been involved in some sort of mysterious encounter with UFOs, given his album UFO, which seemed oddly prophetic after his disappearance. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no conclusive answers have ever been found. Jim Sullivan's disappearance remains one of the music industry's most haunting unsolved mysteries. What happened to him that night in New Mexico, and why did he disappear without a trace? The questions linger, but Sullivan's haunting music continues to be a testament to his legacy. Bison Dele, NBA star's tragic sailing mystery. Bison Dele, a former NBA player celebrated for his talent and unique spirit, was a man who lived life on his own terms. Known for his unconventional lifestyle and interests that extended far beyond basketball, Dele was as enigmatic off the court as he was impressive on it. Yet his story took a tragic and mysterious turn in July of 2002, when he mysteriously disappeared while sailing in the South Pacific. Dele, his girlfriend Serena Carlin, his brother Miles Dabord, and the ship's captain, Bertrand Saldo, set out on a voyage aboard his catamaran, the Hakuna Matata. What was meant to be a peaceful adventure in the idyllic waters of the South Pacific ended in disaster. Almost 2 weeks after the group embarked, Miles Dabord returned to Tahiti alone. The rest of the party had disappeared without a trace. The details of what transpired remain murky, but investigators pieced together a troubling story. Dabord forged Dele's signature on financial documents, attempting to purchase gold under his brother's name. Suspicion mounted when it was discovered that the Hakuna Matata had been left in Tahiti under a new name, with its identifying markings removed and bullet holes patched. In September, Miles Dabord fled to Mexico amid mounting evidence against him. Before authorities could apprehend him, Dabord overdosed on insulin and passed away, taking any secrets he may have held about the fate of his brother, Serena Carlin, and Bertrand Saldo to the grave. Speculation abounds, with theories ranging from a violent altercation aboard the ship to premeditated murder. Authorities believe that Dabord may have killed the others, using weights to sink their bodies into the ocean, leaving no trace. The mysterious disappearance of Bison Dele remains one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in sports history. His tragic story is a reminder of how even the most vibrant and accomplished lives can end in inexplicable darkness, leaving behind unanswered questions and an enduring sense of loss. Rico Harris, basketball player's highway vanishing in the year 2000, Rico Harris seemed to have the world at his fingertips. A towering talent on the basketball court, he had been a top 100 college basketball recruit and later joined the legendary Harlem Globetrotters, known for their electrifying performances. But Harris's promising career was derailed by struggles with alcohol, which cast a long shadow over his life. His mysterious disappearance would become one of sport's most puzzling unsolved cases. After leaving basketball, Rico Harris took a job as a security guard in Los Angeles. However, his drinking caught up with him again, and by 2014, he was fired for being intoxicated on the job. That year, Harris, now 37 years old, decided to leave his mother's home in LA and drive to Seattle to start fresh with his girlfriend. What started as a hopeful journey quickly turned into a baffling mystery. Rico Harris's car was discovered abandoned outside Sacramento. Inside the vehicle, investigators found his wallet and other personal belongings. Nearby, his backpack and cell phone were recovered by the roadside. Friends and family noted that Harris had a history of vanishing for a few days when he needed time to himself. But this time, things felt different. Those close to him reported that he had been in an unusually strange mental state before his trip. As the search for Rico Harris intensified, a string of eerie sightings was reported. Witnesses claimed they saw a giant man walking along State Route 16, which runs near where his car was found. Footprints were discovered in the sand along the route, but they led nowhere. The trail seemed to evaporate, leaving investigators and loved ones grasping for answers. One theory suggests that Harris may have been picked up as a hitchhiker. The Los Angeles Times speculated that he might have continued his journey with a stranger. If so, where he went and why he didn't contact anyone remains a mystery. Rico Harris's unsolved disappearance is as puzzling as it is heartbreaking. For someone whose life was once filled with such promise, his vanishing has left a void that friends, family, and fans are still trying to fill with answers. What happened to the towering basketball star on that lonely stretch of highway? That question, like Rico Harris himself, remains lost to the winds. Writer's final Mexican journey. Ambrose Bierce was a man of many talents. A celebrated newspaper columnist, short story writer, satirist, and Civil War veteran. Known for his sharp wit and biting humor, Bierce earned fame through his satirical column, Prattler, which appeared in prominent West Coast newspapers like the San Francisco Examiner. His literary career was equally impressive, with a repertoire that included novels, short stories, and The Devil's Dictionary, a darkly humorous and insightful critique of society, cleverly disguised as a lexicon of redefined words. Born in 1842, Bierce's life was shaped by his experiences as a soldier in the American Civil War, which he survived and later immortalized in his hauntingly realistic stories. These works captured the chaos, brutality, and absurdity of war in a way few others could. Despite the acclaim, Ambrose Bierce's personal life was marked by tragedy. He married and had 3 children, but the family was beset by misfortunes, including the deaths of 2 of his children in 1913. At the age of 71, Bierce decided to embark on a bold and unexpected journey. With the world changing around him, he left the United States for Mexico, which at the time was in the throes of revolution. His reasons for this dramatic move remain unclear. Perhaps he was searching for inspiration, adventure, or a new perspective on life. What is certain, however, is that after December of 1913, Ambrose Bierce mysteriously disappeared without a trace. His last known communication was a letter to a friend in which he mentioned heading toward Chihuahua to observe Pancho Villa's revolutionary forces. Beyond that, no records or confirmed sightings of Bierce exist. Over the past century, countless theories have emerged about what became of the enigmatic writer. Some speculate he was executed by Mexican revolutionaries, while others believe he succumbed to illness or died in an accident. More outlandish theories suggest he faked his death to escape his past, or even orchestrated his disappearance as a final elaborate act of satire. Ambrose Bierce's unsolved disappearance remains one of the most intriguing literary mysteries of all time. His sharp wit and fearless commentary live on through his work, but the question of what happened to him after he crossed into Mexico continues to haunt historians and fans alike. Lord Lucan, Aristocrat's notorious vanishing act. Lord Lucan, a British aristocrat known for his charm and troubled lifestyle, mysteriously disappeared on November 7, 1974, after a violent incident at his estranged wife's home. His case remains one of history's most notorious unsolved disappearances. Following a bitter custody battle, financial troubles, and personal struggles, Lord Lucan allegedly attacked his wife, Veronica, and murdered the family nanny, Sandra Rivet. Veronica escaped and raised the alarm, but Lucan fled before police arrived. His car was later found abandoned, with evidence linking him to the crime. Despite extensive searches and rumors of his survival abroad, including alleged sightings in various countries, Lord Lucan was never found. His mysterious disappearance remains one of modern history's most intriguing unsolved mysteries, sparking endless speculation and debate about whether this aristocrat escaped justice or met with his own tragic end. Jean Spangler, Hollywood starlet's chilling vanishing. Jean Spangler, a rising starlet and dancer, mysteriously disappeared on October 7, 1946, at the age of 26. Born in Seattle, Washington, she was gradually carving a niche for herself in Hollywood with appearances in films like When My Baby Smiles at Me and Chicken Every Sunday. The evening she vanished, Jean told her sister-in-law she was meeting her ex-husband to discuss child support and then heading to a late-night film shoot. She was last seen at a grocery store. 2 days later, her purse was discovered in Griffith Park with a torn strap and an unsettling note addressed to Kirk. The note mentioned a visit to a Dr. Scott, but offered little clarity. Theories about Jean Spangler's mysterious fate ran wild. Some speculated she had been involved in a botched abortion, a perilous and illegal practice at the time in post-war Los Angeles. Others suggested connections to organized crime or even actor Kirk Douglas, though no evidence ever substantiated these claims. To this day, her disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, shrouded in speculation and intrigue. Jean Spangler's case remains one of Hollywood's most chilling unsolved disappearances, a reminder of the darker side of the golden age of cinema. Weldon Kees, Poets Golden Gate Mystery. Weldon Kees was a multifaceted American artist, renowned as a painter, jazz pianist, filmmaker, and poet. A key figure of mid-20th century American culture, he was celebrated as an icon of the Beat generation, with his works regularly appearing in prestigious outlets like The New Yorker and Time. Despite his professional accomplishments, Weldon Kees battled personal demons, including severe manic depression, which weighed heavily on his life. On July 18, 1955, Kees mysteriously disappeared in San Francisco. His car was later discovered abandoned on the Marin County side of the Golden Gate Bridge, sparking rumors that he had taken his own life. However, without a body, his fate could never be confirmed. Friends later revealed that Kees had spoken of two potential paths for escape: leaping from the bridge or disappearing into Mexico to start anew. His enigmatic disappearance has left his legacy steeped in mystery, captivating those who continue to explore his remarkable life and mysterious vanishing. Weldon Kees joins the ranks of creative geniuses whose unsolved disappearances continue to perplex investigators and fascinate the public decades later. Forrest D.E. Shab, rapper's Mexican mystery. Forrest Shab, widely recognized by his stage name, D.Y., was an emerging Canadian rap artist with immense promise. In February of 2010, Billboard spotlighted him as one of Canada's best up-and-coming talents, signaling a bright future in the music industry. However, that future took a dark turn later that year in what would become one of music's most recent mysterious disappearances. D.Y. made plans in August to travel to Mexico, but after arriving, he mysteriously disappeared without a trace on November 18, 2010. Canadian authorities launched an investigation into his disappearance, but their efforts yielded no answers. The mystery surrounding D.Y.'s fate gave rise to a host of theories. Some speculated that his disappearance was linked to organized crime or drug-related issues, while others suggested it might have stemmed from personal struggles, particularly after CP Records terminated his contract earlier that year, a setback that may have impacted his mental health. D.Y.'s unsolved disappearance remains an unresolved enigma, leaving fans and loved ones to wonder about the untimely fate of a talented artist whose potential was cut tragically short. His case reminds us that mysterious disappearances continue to occur even in our modern, connected world. To uncover more intriguing stories about famous missing people and celebrity disappearances, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for weekly videos exploring unsolved mysteries, cold cases, and the strange and unexplained. Leave a comment with which mysterious disappearance you'd like us to cover next.